Who cares about wealth? Apparently some people. Oh, hey, Gian. Oh. GG. I can love this game. Well, that was a good one. Took like 36 damage that turn from hand. No real counterplay, nice.
Let's get salty!
Everyone, Zeddy here again today with a brand new video, and I've seen a lot of discussion lately, whether it be on Twitter, Reddit, social media in general, about the state of the Hearthstone meta, and how some feel that the mission that Blizzard set out with this latest expansion of fighting for board might not necessarily be doing very well, as there are a lot of decks that just feel absolutely awful to face. And while there's one really toxic deck in general we'll talk about, and I kind of want to discuss everything as a whole. And just a reminder that if you enjoy my content, you want to support the channel, and you feel like I have earned your subscription, please hit that sub button, hit that like button below. It helps the channel more than you'll ever know, and I absolutely appreciate all the support you guys show me on a daily basis. So, what are we talking about? We're talking about, let's just go back in time to United and Stormwind. I mean, all we have to do is go into our collection and look at United and Stormwind and get some pretty good PTSD. But all we have to remember is Questline Hunter being a super meta deck, non-interactive mess. We had Quest Mage, which didn't fight for the board, just burned you in the face. The Demon Seed, which didn't fight for the board, really killed you with fatigue damage, or when Stealer or Souls was a thing, basically your own cards. You had Quest Shaman, which could just generate ridiculous amount of burn, relatively cheap, and burn you out. You had all these quest decks that just were non-interactive. Even the Pirate Warrior deck, which initially fought for board, would have infinite damage, whether it be from the Juggernaut dealing damage, weapons, and then eventually Mr. Smite. And yes, basically, after United Stormwind, the meta became incredibly uninteractive, and even like Demon Hunter, another example, their quest line, they would OTK you with cheap cards, and it was absolutely disgusting. And well, we complained about that for how long? I don't even know. Still to this day. I mean, I'm bringing it up right now. It's been complained about, and Blizzard kind of responded with, we have, I think Cora tweeted this out, that there's going to be an emphasis on board battles going forward, especially after rotation, after a lot of problem cards came out. However, I've seen comments saying that it's not quite good enough yet, and it's really problematic still. So I thought I would look at the decks that are kind of the outliers in the current meta that fit these archetypes. And we're not talking about Wild, and Wild is a complete, utter high roll fiesta. It's big Shaman's combo decks. It's crazy there. I don't know how you address that, or if you do at all, but we're talking about standard here. So this is the deck I probably put in the thumbnail and alluded to in the title, Mine Rogue. This is probably the least fun deck I have faced since like the Demon Seed was top tier, where this is a deck that has zero intention on fighting for board, zero intention on doing anything other than going face, because, well, they drop a Naval Mine, which only can go face, 4 damage to the face, and you have Snowfall Graveyard, and this deck cannot be interacted with. You can't interact with this deck outside of trying to out armor it, which is very difficult, and you got to do it very quickly, or killing them. Really killing them, because a Mutinous won't do anything. You can't even remove this card here, Snowfall Graveyard. It's an objective spell. The best you can do is try and hit it with a counter spell or an Ice Trap, which is super unreliable when you got preps and cheap spells and all of that. It doesn't work, and they even have Wild Paw Nolan here, which has zero synergy with the deck, but because Maestra makes this card broken with any tradable, well, it comes down on turns 2 and 3, and you can either control the board or push more face damage, but ultimately, at the end of the day, people are just killing you with Naval Mines. They're not fighting for board. They're doing insane damage, and it's just the worst experience. And you can't even kill the minion. If they play it, you can't even kill it because you're going to die unless you have a silence. So it's one of the worst experiences out there. But there is an asterisk to it, and just hold on for that one for a second, because I'm going to talk about the other deck I hear complain about a lot. A deck I can't stand either is Boar Priest. This deck, again, doesn't really ever fight for board. It is purely about getting Elwyn Boars dead and then killing your opponent with the Sword of 1,000 Truths, which does 45 damage. You're not surviving that, plus, you know, you're at 1 mana, you are screwed. And this deck is just a bunch of card draw, which is enabled by basically Handmaiden becoming a card, as well as Northshire Cleric being put back into standard. And yeah, you just cycle through your deck, you trade your amulet, you kill it off, and then you get a bunch of boars and kill your opponent. Again, super non-interactive. Another deck that Disruption can't really hit because Elwyn Boar, well, you just kill it off yourself if you really need to, and you can't exactly mutinous anything. Again, even if Dirty Rat was in the meta, it wouldn't be very efficient. Like, there's not a great way of disrupting this other than like Najak Hexen. But again, they can even play around that if that's meta. They could just kill it off. So again, another really problematic deck that has that absolutely hopeless feels bad feel unless you can kill them really quickly, or the other counter to this one is just play Celestial Alignment Druid. So the asterisk on these two decks that I will mention as to why I can't really compare it to the other two I'm going to talk about is they're not that good, at least in terms of even a high legend. I'm looking at top 1000 legend. Look at tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. You gotta go all the way down to tier 4, Mind Rogue, Boar Priest. On average, these decks aren't that good. They have to be played pretty well. They require specific draw, and I keep hearing the arguments, Boar Priest is the best game. Well, the stats never reflect that. But that's the asterisk. These decks are not incredibly strong, but they're strong enough that they polarize the meta enough that you see them a lot, and they crush you, and they feel terrible. The other two decks I hear mentioned are Charge Warrior. Charge Warrior, which builds up to their combo of either Mr. Smite, Galvangar, or both, copy with Faceless Manipulator, and get a Battleground Battlemaster. And these are all 6 and 5 mana cards, so you got to cheat them out, whether it's hitting a part with From the Depths, or you also have To the Front, which can cheat them out, or you can make your To the Fronts cheaper. And this combo can go off as early as turns 5 and 6 if you really hit that Omega roll. But compared to the other decks, it's a bit more vulnerable to disruption, right? You can mutinous them, you can hit them, plus these decks have alternate win conditions. They can win with their hero card, they can win with a Nelly, they can win with some value off School Teacher. It's not like it's just the combo. And the other deck very similar to that is Holy Paladin, which again stalls, removes the board, but can win with other cards like Light Ray, like a Lightforged Cariel, a Leviathan, a value from Queen Ajara. There's plenty of other things, but the uninteractive aspect is buffing up Mr. Smite over and over, putting 2 Gardens of Graces on it and killing your opponent. But again, it's vulnerable to disruption. And the big part about these two decks is that Charge Warrior and Holy Paladin, they're really good decks. They win a lot. They're very strong. So what is my take on it? Are we back in a non-interactive United Stormwind meta? Is this not good enough? No, the team has come a long way. They've definitely listened. We see a lot more board-based decks. Heck, even the Charge Warrior, Holy Paladin fight for board. They play other minions that don't just draw the combo. And we see other decks that fight for board, whether it be Naga Priest, whether it be Boat Rogue, which is Pirate Rogue, Naga Demon Hunter, Mech Paladin, Big Paladin, Naga Mage, Thief Rogue. Like, there's a bunch of board-based decks that we didn't really see around. I think the team's come a long way. It's nowhere near perfect at all, but I do feel like a deck like Mind Rogue, a deck like Boar Priest, although not super efficient, not super great, create these horrible feelings, and they're popular enough that it really sours the experience for other players, whereas a Charge Warrior and Holy Paladin might just be a bit overtuned, but they're combo decks that I think can exist. Why can't combo decks exist? Especially when they're vulnerable to counterplay, they're vulnerable to counters, they're just maybe going to be overtuned. So would I nerf the aspect of the combo deck? I don't know. I feel like a From the Depths is a more problematic card in Charge Warrior. I feel like in a Holy Paladin, Lightforged Cariel is a more problematic card with the infinite damage reduction and damage you get. Like, I feel like those parts of these decks are more problematic than the combo aspect, because I like playing combos. Don't get me wrong. I'm fine with a combo deck, but I'm not fine with decks that solely just play for combo, have almost no direct answer to it, and are completely non-interactive in their gameplay experience. So for me, I would love to see a deck like Mind Rogue, a deck like Boar Priest, just delete it from the game if it was up to me. But the game's not up to me. It's up to the developers, and it's up to you guys. So I want to hear your take on this. Do you think decks like Mind Rogue and Boar Priest should exist at a playable level, or they should be pure meme style? Like, if you're playing it, you're going to lose a lot, but you're going to get that spectacular highlight every once in a while. And do you think eventual combo deck like a Charge Warrior, like a Holy Paladin, which I'd argue is more control, I'd argue, you know, they're both control-ish in a way, that these decks should be allowed to live, but maybe should be dialed back? Or you completely disagree with my takes entirely? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. Have a great day and stay salty, my friends.